Today we're reviewing Collemattoni's 2015 Brunello di Montalcino. Montalcino is world famous as one of the best places to grow the Sangiovese grape varietal, and it also happens to be one of the most beautiful parts of Tuscany as well. Collemattoni is a small organic family winery. It's owned and operated by Marcello Bucci, and the winery is located southwest of Montalcino near the hamlet of Sant'Angelo in Colle. A little bit warmer climate out there. Collemattoni is also a small producer. They have about 25 acres of vines and they produce roughly 5,000 cases annually. Their 2015 harvest was exceptional. Like many of the other folks in the area, Marcello and his family really enjoyed the excellent weather that year. But before we jump into the wine, let's recap some basics about the DOCG Brunello di Montalcino. First and foremost, it has some of the strictest rules for production compared to some of the Italian wines out there. 100% Sangiovese, so there are no other grape varietals in there. The wine must be 100% Sangiovese. They limit the quantity of grapes grown per acre to keep the yield real low and the quality very high, forcing concentration. The farmers must dry farm, and the wines must spend at least 2 years minimum aging in oak barrels. The wine then can be released on the 5th year after the harvest. So let's jump into the tasting at this point.
It's good to be wise when you're young, 'cause you can only be young, but for once, enjoy.
The color of this wine is the classic ruby red we've come to expect from Sangiovese, with excellent concentration, and it reflects light beautifully. Okay, guys, let's jump into the next wine. We are looking at today a Brunello di Montalcino from Collemattoni is the producer, and these guys were offering their 2015 Brunello di Montalcino, an excellent vintage all across the board in the whole region, and also Collemattoni. Collemattoni, their wineries on one of the more southern, kind of southwestern slopes of the region of Montalcino. Often can be a little bit warmer, but they've got some elevation out there. So they get these real cold nights. They're in an area that also tends to get some sea breezes, believe it or not. So it's got this kind of classic marine climate where at night it gets real cold, during the days it can be real hot. So their wines often have power, but at the same time they also have freshness. But let's jump into the tasting. And right off the bat, this wine has this really balanced complexity to it, meaning there's not one single aroma that really stands out. And sometimes for some folks, maybe an untrained nose and stuff, it will almost seem as if the wine is not really intense. It actually has a really nice intensity. It's just that you can't tease out any one single aroma right away. This is one of those wines that as you're having the meal, flavors come out, new aromas come out. You know, you get some of the balsamic, some of the spice that's right there right now, and then you're gonna get a little bit more, the fruit comes out a little bit later. It's a little bit more black cherry. It's got a lot of mineral aromas in it, which you don't often get in Montalcino. You can, definitely, there's a few producers that definitely have it, but not all of them. Sometimes you get this beautiful fruit that comes out right away in this cherry, black cherry a lot of times. But the fruit comes out much later in this wine. It's got, like I said, more spice. It's got some of this mineral aroma up front, definitely some floral in there as well. And then the fruit's in there as well. But like I said, it's complex, but it's well integrated. So it's kind of hard to tease out some of these aromas right away at the first impact on your nose. Let's jump into the tasting. So on the palate, it changes. You get a little bit more of the fruit, and it almost comes first. And then you get some of the spice and everything else. Really nice freshness. This wine has a really nice freshness. A little bit of warmth to it. You can definitely feel there's some warmth to it. So it's dry, you want some juicy, succulent food when you pair this. Tannins are definitely there, and they're definitely strong, and it's definitely a wine you can age. However, they're not as aggressive as some of the other wines. Some of the wines on the northern side that I will often offer, they're wines that maybe need a year or two more in the bottle before they really start to show a little bit more of themselves. This one, it will improve a lot in the next several years, but it's probably more ready to drink than some of the others at this point in time because of where it's located, because that little extra bit of warmth, that little bit of extra softness that it has, and then it doesn't have quite as aggressive tannins as some of the others. Still, the tannins are there. They are still somewhat aggressive. They, you can definitely feel them around your mouth. You can chew on them a little bit. You need to pair this with, the classic pair for your Brunello. You've got your juicy steak, your ribeye, your porterhouse, pasta with meat sauce, all those sorts of classic things that you're going to pair with a Brunello. But the point is, juicy, succulent, fatty, and or oily food really do best with these types of wines. That's it, you guys. I hope you love this wine as much as I do. And Collemattoni is the producer again. Their 2015 Brunello Montalcino. So I hope you guys love it. Thanks.
Enjoy your